if I offer the kind of a topics class this summer, but it's going to be over 12 weeks on Zoom in the evenings. Uh, that's going to cover all sorts of investments, how you deal with options in your investments, different strategies. Would you guys want to take a class like that? I know you would, but because if that's the case, I'll ask them to offer it because there has to be a certain number of students for it to make it. I don't particularly care how much they pay me. There's a minimum. If you pass that, they even prorate the whole thing. Because unfortunately, they're not teaching you these things. I mean, I have people in my portfolio class having taken investments class as a prerequisite. They come to class without having heard of, not learned, without having heard of futures contracts. You can't manage your risk without at least futures contracts. It's not just about, managing corporate risk. You can manage your own portfolio risk using futures contracts. You can do it with options as well, but that's a lot more sophisticated. And I'm afraid when people take it online, they learn even less. All right, going back to this. This basically says if you have survived as a single B company for 5 years, the chances that you're going to die after that is relatively small. Think about it. You're a single B company. You were somewhat in trouble or you had just started. If you survive 5 years, more than likely your business model worked. Okay, you succeeded. And that's why you're a lot less likely to default in the future. For example, we can do these with 5 years. What is the probability that you're going to die during the years 6 through 10, given that you survived 5 years? We're going to apply the same methodology. Probability of dying on year 10 minus probability of dying on year 5 divided by 1 minus probability of dying on year 5. Of course, if you don't put the parentheses in, that's 4.3%. Compared to probability of dying of within 5 years, in the first 5 years, 927. Let's calculate the last 5 years. That minus 10. That's only 284. So if you survive for 10 years, the chances that you're going to die from years 11 to 15 is even less. More than likely, you are no longer a single B company anyway. But as of now, you're single B. If you survive for 15 years, you may even be an investment grade company. In fact, let's check the probability of dying in 5 years for investment grade companies from that table. I'm not going to do anything with it, but just as a comparison. There's that picture we had. There you go. For lowest investment grade you can be is triple B, and that's 160. Okay, somewhat close. So more than likely, you're going to be close to being an investment grade company after year 10. You'll definitely be in double B because probability of dying for a double B in 5 years is 393, and you have a probability of dying of 432 in years from 5 to 10. So that means over time, these companies will have better ratings. When you're pricing these things for a living, you actually use transition probabilities between ratings and stuff. But we're not going to worry about it too much. Now, let's kind of do 5-year bonds. I'm going to assume simple things. You either default on a given year, and if you do so, the expected recovery ratio is 50%. So there's a 50% haircut given default. Let's think about what happens. And let's assume coupon rate of, since this is single B, you're gonna get, what did we say, 400 basis points. So let's make it 8.5%. Okay, let's have a notional of 1 million. Okay. Now, let's just deal with year one first. What are you expected to get in year one? Oh, I'm sorry. No defaults. You're gonna get the promised coupon, which is 1 million times 850. And I won't be lazy and I will actually fix them. For some reason, Excel decided that that number should be percent formatted. There's a default. I'm going to assume on a present value basis because the recovery actually takes time. But since this is only an undergraduate class, I'm going to assume that they're going to give you 50% of what you're owed that day. And after that, everything is done. Well, let's call the recovery ratio here. You're going to get just that. Excel, you're not as smart as you think you are. Then again, it's a Microsoft product, so it is not surprising to me. I noticed that my son actually bought a subscription on ChatGPT. It's not much, but I'm going to ask him, why do you even need that? This free version helps you quite a bit. When I'm writing code for something and I haven't done that code before, in the old days, I used to just go ahead and write it. Now I go to trial version of ChatGPT and says, write me a code to do the following. It does. It's not exactly what I want, but it's in the ballpark. So I just take that code and revise it. I'm done. Even that alone improves efficiency quite a bit. All right. And we also have the probabilities of this happening. This is going to happen with a probability of 1 minus that. And it's going to happen, default is going to happen with that probability. All right. So I know what I'm promised for year one, and I know the chances of getting whatever I need. So let's see. Let's calculate the expected value. I probably should do it here. It's some products of the amounts with the probabilities. Okay. Again, Microsoft decided that my default currency sign is euro, even though in the region settings I explicitly say I am in the United States.